North America is home to some of the most diverse and fascinating wildcats on Earth. From the frozen tundra of Canada to the tropical jungles of Central America, from the deserts of the American Southwest to the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, wildcats have colonized virtually every major habitat the continent offers, evolving into an extraordinary range of sizes, appearances, and ecological strategies. Most people know that mountain lions and bobcats exist in North America. Fewer people know that jaguars still roam the borderlands of Arizona and New Mexico. Fewer still have heard of the Jaguarundi, a small, weasel-like wildcat that haunts the brushlands of southern Texas. And almost no one can name all 6 species of wildcat that make North America their home. Today, WildForge presents every wildcat species found in North America, from the largest to the smallest, from the most abundant to the most endangered, exploring what makes each one unique, where they live, what they eat, and what their future holds in a continent increasingly shaped by human activity. We begin with the largest, the most widespread, and arguably the most impressive of North America's wildcats, the cougar. The cougar, Puma concolor, is known by more common names than almost any other mammal on Earth. Mountain lion, puma, panther, catamount, and painter are just some of the regional names applied to the single species across its enormous range. It holds the Guinness World Record for the animal with the greatest number of common names, reflecting both its vast distribution and the different cultures that have encountered it across the centuries. The cougar is the largest wildcat native to North America, with adult males typically weighing between 115 and 220 pounds and measuring up to 8 feet from nose to tail tip. Despite this impressive size, the cougar is not classified as a big cat in the technical sense. It cannot roar, lacking the specialized laryngeal anatomy that enables lions, tigers, leopards, and jaguars to produce that characteristic sound. Instead, cougars communicate through chirps, whistles, screams, and a distinctive purring similar to that of domestic cats. The cougar's range is the largest of any wild cat in the Western Hemisphere, extending from the Canadian Yukon in the north through the entire western United States, south through Mexico and Central America, and all the way to the southern tip of South America. In the eastern United States, the cougar was historically widespread but was extirpated from most of its range by the early 20th century through hunting and habitat loss. A small population survives in southern Florida, the Florida panther, now considered a subspecies, but the eastern cougar was officially declared extinct in 2018. However, young male cougars from western populations occasionally venture east, and sightings have been recorded as far as Connecticut and Minnesota in recent years. The cougar is a solitary, territorial ambush predator. Deer constitute the primary prey across most of its range, though it also takes elk, bighorn sheep, pronghorn, coyotes, raccoons, and in some areas livestock. The cougar hunts by stalking its prey to within a short distance before launching an explosive pounce, typically delivering a killing bite to the back of the neck or base of the skull. Adult male cougars may maintain territories of 100 to 400 square miles, patrolling constantly and scent marking their boundaries. The cougar has shown a remarkable ability to coexist with human development in many areas. Suburban mountain lion sightings are common across California, Colorado, and other western states. However, human-cougar conflict over livestock predation, road mortality, and habitat fragmentation continue to challenge cougar populations in many regions. The jaguar, Panthera onca, is the largest cat in the Western Hemisphere, and the only member of the genus Panthera, the roaring cats, native to the Americas. It is a true big cat capable of a deep, resonant roar and the third largest cat in the world after the tiger and the lion. In the context of North America, the jaguar occupies a special and increasingly precarious position. Historically, jaguars ranged across much of the American Southwest, from California through Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. But decades of hunting and habitat loss eliminated the breeding population north of Mexico by the mid-20th century. Today, occasional individual jaguars, almost always young males dispersing from breeding populations in northern Mexico, are documented crossing into southern Arizona and New Mexico, making the jaguar technically a current resident of the United States, though no confirmed breeding has occurred north of the border in decades. The jaguar is a massively built cat, heavier and more powerfully constructed than the cougar. Adult males typically weigh between 125 and 250 pounds, with some individuals in South America reaching 300 pounds. The coat is tawny yellow with distinctive roseate markings, black rings enclosing smaller black spots, and a pale center that are immediately distinguishable from the similar pattern of the leopard, which has rosettes without the central spots. Black or melanistic jaguars, popularly called black panthers, do exist and are particularly common in dense forest habitats. The jaguar is unique among North American cats in its relationship with water. Unlike most cats, jaguars actively seek out water and are powerful swimmers, frequently found near rivers, swamps, and wetlands. They hunt an extraordinary diversity of prey, over 85 recorded species, including deer, peccaries, capybaras, caimans, anacondas, and even sea turtles. The jaguar's killing method is distinctive among large cats. Rather than the throat bite used by lions and leopards, the jaguar typically delivers a direct bite through the skull. Its extraordinarily powerful jaw muscles and robust canine teeth capable of piercing the cranium of prey animals directly. The conservation status of the jaguar in North America is precarious. The species is listed as near threatened globally by the IUCN, though populations are declining and the species occupies only 51% of its historic range, leading many conservationists to argue the listing underestimates the urgency. Jaguar recovery in the United States is considered a high priority. The construction of border barriers between the United States and Mexico poses a significant threat, fragmenting movement corridors and preventing the genetic exchange necessary for any future re-establishment of a breeding US population. The Ocelot, Leopardus pardalis, is one of the most beautiful wild cats in the world, and one of the most endangered in the United States. A medium-sized spotted cat native to the Americas, the Ocelot reaches the northern limit of its range in southern Texas and extreme southern Arizona, making it one of the rarest wild cats in the continental United States. Adult ocelots typically weigh between 15 and 35 pounds, considerably smaller than the cougar or jaguar, with a body length of roughly 28 to 35 inches, plus a long tail. The coat is extraordinarily beautiful, a tawny to reddish brown background covered in complex, elongated, dark-bordered spots and streaks that flow along the body in chains, creating a pattern so distinctive and aesthetically striking that the ocelot was historically one of the most heavily targeted wild cats in the fur trade. In the United States, the ocelot population has been reduced to an estimated 80 to 120 individuals, almost all confined to a few remaining patches of dense thorn scrub habitat in the lower Rio Grande Valley of southern Texas. This tiny, fragmented US population is one of the most critically endangered wildcat populations in North America, isolated from larger Mexican populations by roads, fences, and agricultural development. Road mortality is a leading cause of ocelot deaths in Texas, and the fragmentation of thorn scrub habitat has prevented natural dispersal and gene flow between isolated groups. Ocelots are primarily nocturnal hunters of small to medium-sized prey rodents, rabbits, birds, lizards, and frogs. They are highly adapted for dense cover, their spotted coats providing excellent camouflage in the dappled light of thick brush. Ocelots are also capable climbers and are occasionally found in trees. Unlike the cougar and jaguar, ocelots have been documented caching prey and returning to feed over multiple nights, a behavior also seen in leopards. The bobcat, Lynx rufus, is the most abundant and widely distributed wild cat in North America. The cat that most Americans are most likely to encounter if they spend time outdoors. Found across the entire contiguous United States, southern Canada, and northern Mexico, the bobcat occupies a greater range of habitats than any other North American wildcat, from boreal forest to desert scrub, from suburban edges to remote wilderness. Adult bobcats typically weigh between 11 and 30 pounds, overlapping in size with the ocelot, but generally more robustly built. Their most immediately recognizable features are the short bobbed tail, for which they are named, the black-tipped ears with short ear tufts, and the richly spotted reddish-brown to tawny coat. Bobcats are dietary generalists, taking rabbits, hares, rodents, birds, deer, and in suburban areas, domestic poultry, a flexibility that has allowed them to persist in heavily modified landscapes where other wildcats have disappeared. The bobcat population across North America is estimated at between 2.3 and 3.5 million individuals, making it not just the most common wildcat in North America, but one of the most abundant wildcats in the world. Despite being legally harvested for the fur trade in many US states, the species remains secure at the continental scale, though some regional populations face localized pressure. The Canada lynx, Lynx canadensis, is the specialist of the group, a cat so precisely adapted to one habitat, one prey, and one set of environmental conditions that its entire existence rises and falls in synchrony with the population cycle of a single prey species. The snowshoe hare. Lynx populations track hare abundance with striking precision over a cycle of 8 to 11 years, peaking when hares are abundant and crashing when hares become scarce, making this one of the most famous predator-prey relationships in ecology. The Canada lynx is found primarily across Canada and Alaska, with populations extending south into the northern United States, in states with suitable boreal forest, particularly Minnesota, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and the mountainous regions of the Northeast. Its most distinctive physical features are its enormous snowshoe-like feet, densely furred on the undersoles to distribute weight across deep snow, its very long prominent black ear tufts, and its thick pale gray winter coat. The Canada lynx is listed as threatened under the United States Endangered Species Act, reflecting the fragmented and limited nature of its US population. Climate change represents a particularly significant long-term threat as winter snowpack decreases across its southern range. The deep snow advantage that its oversized feet provide is eroded, and competitors, including the bobcat and the coyote, may extend their ranges northward into formerly lynx-dominated territory. The Jaguarundi, Herpylurus jaguarundi, is the most unusual-looking wildcat in North America, and possibly the least known. Unlike any other North American cat, the Jaguarundi does not look like a typical cat at all. Its long, slender body, short legs, small rounded ears, and long tail give it a distinctly weasel-like or otter-like silhouette that has caused many observers to mistake it for a member of the weasel family rather than the cat family. Adult Jaguarundis weigh between 6 and 20 pounds, making them among the smallest wild cats in North America, with a body length of 20 to 30 inches, plus a long tail. Unlike all other North American cats, the Jaguarundi has a uniformly colored coat, either dark, gray-brown or reddish chestnut, with no spots or other patterning. These two color phases were once believed to represent separate species and were given the separate names Ira for the red face and Jaguarundi for the gray face, before genetic analysis confirmed they were the same species. In the United States, the Jaguarundi is considered extirpated from Texas, the only US state where it was historically documented, though occasional unverified sightings continue to be reported along the Rio Grande. Verified populations exist in northern Mexico, and the species is found through Central America into South America. The Jaguarundi occupies dense brush, forest edges, and riparian corridors, hunting small prey including rodents, birds, lizards, and frogs. Unlike most cats, the Jaguarundi is predominantly diurnal active, primarily during daylight hours, and is a capable climber and swimmer. It is also unusually vocal for a wild cat, producing a remarkable array of sounds including chirps, whistles, and a purring call. North America is home to 6 wild cat species, from the mighty cougar that holds the record for the most common names of any mammal, to the jaguar whose return to the United States hangs by the thread of border crossing corridors, to the beautiful ocelot clinging to survival in a few patches of Texas thorn scrub, to the abundant and adaptable bobcat, to the snowshoe, hair-dependent Canada lynx whose fate is tied to winter snowpack, to the strange and overlooked Jaguarundi that most North Americans have never heard of. Together, these 6 cats tell the story of a continent where wild predators have been pushed to the edges of their former ranges by centuries of hunting, trapping, and habitat conversion, but where in some cases genuine recoveries are possible when humans choose to make space for wildlife. The cougar has demonstrated that large cats can coexist with millions of people in suburban California. The jaguar has shown that dispersal and recovery can happen when corridors exist. The ocelot reminds us how close the edge of extinction can come when a species' habitat is fragmented beyond recovery. And the Jaguarundi asks a simpler question: how many wild animals share our landscape that we have never even learned to recognize? North America's wild cats are part of the continent's identity ancient predators that shaped its ecosystems long before humans arrived, and will continue to do so if we give them the chance. Thank you for watching.